Hello everyone, it's Melissa. I'm back and I have a 12 by 12 layout share, and this is documenting the 4th of July this summer. I'm starting by pulling from my product jar, so I've got Flair, Project Life card, stickers, stencils, stickers, phrase stickers, and sewing and stitching. And so yeah, here we go. I'm pulling my summer and travel product little container and also my 4th of July thematic papers I have sorted in a little clear packaging. So I decided that I was going to, of course, stencil because it was a pull. And originally I had chosen this Tim Holtz Sunburst stencil, and I don't end up using it, but you see there I'm showing you little bits of the patriotic themed product that I pulled from my box. And so I'm wanting to do a film strip type layout with my photos, and so I printed them 2x3 with a border. I'm trimming the border off now, and I'm going to glue them on to these 2 strips of white cardstock that I have just cut down, and in between the photos I'm going to add just some scraps of paper, 4 different to be exact, and one of the colors, in fact, that I choose is from a Project Life card. It is the red and white striped. You can see I'm showing you there. And just some scraps of paper. So I'm going to start adhering the photos down. And this is going, this is going to be super fun because it essentially reminds me of one of my favorite type of layouts, which is a grid layout. And where you can essentially tackle each little space as its own. So that'll be fun later on. And so pulling from my stash, I have seen, I don't know whose video I saw, but I saw recently, this month or last month, HipKit offered this Heidi Swap stencil. I've had this particular stencil in my stash for years. I don't even remember where I got it, but somewhere along the lines recently I saw somebody cut it apart, and I thought that was an ingenious idea. So I put away the Tim Holtz Starburst Sunburst stencil and decided I was going to cut apart this stencil. I was going to use my Candied Apple Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink, a makeup sponge there, just a small chunk, because when you're using, in my opinion anyway, when you're using stencils and you're trying to be neat and not make a mess and try to stay in a little confined area, the smaller the sponge or the applicator, the better. I don't have any of those fingertip applicators, so the makeup sponge, I get it from the Dollar Tree usually. This is a bag I've been working on for years to go through, but I just cut away bits of it. You don't need a whole sponge, but the smaller the better, in my opinion. So I'm just going to work my way around the photos. I don't need to do everywhere because those film strips will take up some space. So I'm just positioning these pieces, or the stencil with the tape, where I want it to go. And yeah, just going to do it, I believe, in 3 or 4 sections. I don't make you watch the whole process, but you get the idea here. The one thing I will caution you is that you want to be careful because your hands will be all inky because the ink will be on the washi tape. The ink will be pooling up on the stencil itself. So yeah, just be careful. So the other thing I pulled from my stash, this is old Heidi Swap product, and it was way back when they had the sticky sheets with the foil. And this particular, it's like a foam word, says The Good Life, and it's sticky on one side and sticky on the other side. So I removed the sticky from the top. I'm going to cut away the excess, and then, actually for good measure, I'm going to run it through my Big Shot machine in like a pretty stiff, tight sandwich, just to make sure that all of it's stuck down. And oh yeah, so also what I'm showing you here after is the Distress Tim Holtz. This is brushed pewter, and I just put some mists all over the page after the stencil dried. I also showed you there my title, The Good Life, after I removed the foil. I decided to cut down and mount on a piece of red 12 by 12 cardstock, my base piece. I'm showing you I stamped on that top square Celebrate July from the July Allie Edwards Story by the Month kit. I just use my black VersaFine Onyx Black ink to stamp on my photos. I use HP photo paper that I get from Walmart, and that ink works great for me. I print at home. So you see I have some ribbon pulled from my stash, and in fact I get that whole piece used, and I am elated because it's been in my stash for a gazillion years. So those two pieces of red and white scrap paper I just cut down from a smaller piece. I'm just going to adhere those to the edges. I'm showing you there I have a font in my stash. It's from Quick Cuts. It's really old, and it's called Tangerine, one of my favorites. But what I did was I put some 1 inch or 1.5 inch like double-sided score tape, sticky tape, on a piece of white cardstock and ran that through with my die, and it cuts beautifully. But in fact, now I have sticky on that side of my die to add the foil. So yeah, because the Good Life wasn't the only thing that I wanted foiled, and I do believe in my stash that I have a foiling marker as well, so I could have used that, but this worked just as well. So adhering my white down, I'm loving how this is looking. It's looking ridiculously festive in my opinion. And yeah, one of the things I especially enjoy is I maybe document the 4th of July layout style maybe once every 3 years, give or take. Not a layout that or a holiday that I invest a lot of time in, so, or product, as you see, I only had like 3 sheets of paper. But so for me to pull it out and use it was so fun because, you know, I don't get a chance to do and use this product very often. And I mean, the 4th of July is an incredibly festive day, and yeah, you could really bling it up, which, you know, is why I added the stars as like a confetti. I'll eventually add sequins and stickers, which you'll see here towards the end of the video. So I'm just using some really teeny tiny, maybe 1/8, or it's smaller than a quarter, so 1/8 inch score tape, put it on the back of my ribbon. I will eventually adhere that ribbon on top and the bottom with my Tim Holtz tiny attacher. I'm actually showing you there my number 4 that I cut out with the cardstock and the foiling with the sticky paper. And I'm also going to, what I didn't show you is here I'm going to build it up 4 high. So I essentially cut the 4 times, but only the top layer did I foil, of course. And I will add the TH for the 4th with a different font and some dies, and do the exact same thing and make sure I do it 4 times, just for some dimension. You can see there I'm just adding some scraps of paper per my usual, guys. I feel like, why change what's working, you know? In fact, you might feel like a lot of my layouts look the same. I just back up my pictures on cardstock and then just tuck scraps of paper in here and there, and it's in fact what I do. But guess what? I am knocking layouts out left and right, and so I don't care. This is the vibe I'm going with, and it's working for me, so I'm just going to keep rolling with it. I'm cutting down this sticker. These are clear stickers that I've had in my stash, again, for a gazillion years. They've got some foiling, a foiling type application on them, so they look like, you know, exploding fireworks, which I just love. So I'm going to add those, you guys know, in 3 places. I'll eventually add most of the colors in 3 spaces for your eye to follow the page. But yeah, right now I am loving this. I've got the color blocking there, so for my grids I will address each section separately, and I will leave the 2 bottom ones alone. The pattern paper, you know, is a nice visual, pleasing landing spot on the bottom of my layout. So I'm showing you there I'm using the MFT bottle cap alphas. I use these all the time. They're nice tiny alpha. I'm also using from this Poppy Stamps. It's a magic and sparkle stamp. I'm using the star burst, and yeah, giving you an up close there of my foiling job. Also, I used Bring on the Boom piece of chipboard from the Allie Edwards July Stories by the Month kit. I'm showing you that I've stamped and white embossed onto a piece of scrap paper that was in my 4th of July stash. I'm going to add a 3/4 of an inch epoxy bubble. I buy those online, on eBay or wherever I can get them the cheapest. And I'm just going to make that into a piece of flare. Excuse me. So, a flare was a product pull. Also, behind this, eventually, you'll see me ball up some thread, some silver thread that I knot up and put behind here as my sewing stitching element. Super pleased though to get, you know, another one of those titles from the Heidi Swap little foiling kit that I purchased years and years ago. I have 2 left. Yeah, so this star that I have, I just brought it in because the blue matches the ribbon and it matches my paper that I made the flare into. Just a different kind of blue than the navy that's already in the page. And I have phrase stickers on there, and those were pulled from Miscellaneous, Tim Holtz Chit Chat, and the Allie Edwards July Story by the Month phrase stickers. You can see there I've added some blue sequins onto the page and my journaling, and this layout is done. I am super happy with how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this process. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. If you in fact liked this video, I would love a thumbs up, and please subscribe to stay updated. And I will put my links to my other social media sites, Cut It Up Creations Facebook page and Instagram in the description box below. I would love for you to come follow me, see what I'm up to, and stay up to date with my crafty little life here. And yeah, you guys, thanks so much, and I will be back soon. Bye!